good morning. Welcome to our Sundays Live. Today we're going to talk about what types of reformers you should be looking at if you're on the fun size, the shorter side. So I'm Lesley Logan, co-founder of OnlinePilatesClasses.com. I'm super excited to answer your questions. This has come up because of the comments you've left in one of our videos. So anytime you have a question, just drop it in any video. We will answer it. And if you're an OPC member, we answer it in the community every single day. It's quite fun. And we also give you feedback on your form. In fact, we just wrapped spring training, which is a week long of live classes with Q&As. And we got to talk to several of you YouTube watchers and actually give personalized feedback to you because you were at those live classes. And several of you joined OPC. Yes, welcome to the club. Welcome to the community. Thank you so much. If you would like to be a part of OPC, stick around to the end. I'll tell you how to do it for not very much money. Okay, so here's the deal about reformers. They have gotten quite large over the years. Joe's reformer was 80 inches. The reason why reformers became 86 inches is to fit a jump board. And then people wanted even longer because of PT, NBA players, things like that. So now you've got 91, I think even 93-inch reformers. Typically, the reformer length gets longer at the back end. So the headrest to foot bar doesn't actually get longer usually. That'd be more of a specialized reformer. It gets longer going that way. Now, that affects everyone, whether you're tall or short, because the physics, you know me, didn't take the class, but what I understand is angles matter. So the physics are that this strap starts further back, which means the angle of which it hits your body is going to be affected, right? And it takes a little bit longer to catch the spring. So the longer the reformer, the time it takes to catch the spring. It's kind of like those math questions. If Susie's on a train going this million miles per hour and so is on this, I didn't answer those questions well either. Definitely copied in geometry, or algebra. However, but it's like that, okay? And so what I know is I can feel the physics when I'm on longer reformers. It does affect when a spring and a strap connect and it hits my body. So longer is not always better. And the actual reality is if you're looking at scientific studies about the average height of people, we are not getting taller unless you're in the Netherlands. My peeps over there with your health and your wealth and your amazingness, you're getting tall. But the rest of the world actually, especially in Western places like the US, people are actually getting shorter. So this idea that we need to have these 91-inch reformers, I actually don't think so. I use an 80-inch reformer on everyone under 6'3" because I don't use the jump board. The jump board wasn't something Joe Pilates invented. Again, when the jump board got added on, they needed to add 6 more inches, okay? So if you're on the shorter side, like an average adult person on the shorter side, I'm talking like 5'3", 5 feet, an 8-inch is gonna be fine for you because the spring's going to hit the tension at the right time. You're not going to hit the wheels. I'm almost 5'10". I only hit the wheels in short spine. And it's not even an issue in semicircle if you do it correctly, right? Some people complain about kneeling arm circles hitting the wheels. I think if you're a little taller than me, you might, but I would like to see you do it because I bet you we can actually adjust things there, right? So to me, the 80-inch is the best. This is a Contrology 80-inch. It's the best for most people. Now, if you are truly on the fun size, where I hear complaints is that on footwork, you don't feel that deep hip flexion. Let's talk about it. So like if you're on the fun size, right, because I'm taller, so I'm already like almost knees over hips. So if you are on the shorter side, you're probably like this, right? And so you don't feel this deep, this whole reach out with the legs. It doesn't feel as impressive to you. Guess what though? Joe invented coordination and it comes pretty quickly, right? Look at, you could be here, right? What I see with most people in their coordinations, they stop here. The whole point of coordination is if you didn't get that deep hip flexion, you get to get it here. You get to challenge yourself, okay? So, um, so I would just like to point out that like if you're not getting what you need from some exercises, then what you can do is get them in other exercises. Joe gave us 500 plus exercises. I want to talk about a couple other things though. So if you're like, Lesley, I'm not convinced. I'm definitely more on the fun size and I can't do coordination. I need my footwork to do. Balance Body, who makes Contrology, they also make several reformers where you can actually click the foot bar in closer. So Sure, you can bring me that. Thank you. Look at my lovely assistant, Brad. Brad waits for everyone. He's always behind the camera. This is Brad. Okay. So before I get into these things, I want to talk about this. So I can't, I would say, I think it's Rialto's, definitely some A2s. You can have, it's called an infinity bar, and the foot bar can actually click in closer along the side. So you'll see like a rail here, and the foot bar can actually move anywhere along the reformer. I don't, I've used them when we go on tour. So if you are super concerned about getting that deep hip flexion, deep knee flexion, that supported and closed chain, you can do a reformer that actually moves the foot bar in. Look for an infinity foot bar. I want to just challenge you though. If, like, remember, the reformer isn't the thing that Joe created first. He created the mat work first. Yeah. And the mat work is very hard. Then we were given the tower Cadillac because the springs really help us understand how to reach and connect our arms to our back and our legs to our center. And then he came up with his universal reformer. Yeah. A lot of people think the reformer is the thing in Pilates. It's not, it's a part of a system. And you can get the same thing out of footwork on the reformer on the one chair. And so if you're shorter, the one chair might actually be the thing to beat. Or if you're like, no, I want the back, I want something touching my back and my feet being able to be on a foot bar. That's the high chair. So personally, I like to understand that, like, there's something for everybody on the equipment. And if something doesn't work for your body, there's probably another piece of equipment where it does work. And let's go there versus trying to find like a reformer for a child. Now, there are companies that make reformers for little children. That might work for you if you are really on the under 5 foot side. I don't know the brands well, so I can't speak to them, but they do exist. Now, these little tools here, these are really great. So if when you're trying to fit, if you're on the shorter side and you're trying to fit between the shoulder blocks and the foot bar, not footwork, this wouldn't work for footwork, but for long stretch, down stretch elephant, a spacer box is a really good thing. This has strap, so I can even just like strap it in so it doesn't move. It's going to be secure. And then I can use it for, again, your whole long stretch series, your knee stretch series. It's really, really great for you, right? So you can have that. If that's too much, because sometimes it is, sometimes people think they need more than they really do. You can use a Kuna board. You guys, you can make a Kuna board, you can buy a Kuna board, you could use a 2x4, because you can see the difference is, so then you're not over supporting yourself, right? Or under. So you can choose what you want to do. So I would just say, like, especially if you're a teacher, I don't want you buying 5 different size reformers for like the different types of people you're working with. And unless you truly are working with NBA, WNBA players, getting yourself an 80 and an 86 is going to be great. Now, if it's personal, again, since I don't really know the quality and how long things will last on those reformers made for children, I would probably get an 80-inch reformer. And if it's more money than you want to spend, get yourself a one chair. In our our chairs flashcard deck, I actually show you how to make your one chair a high chair with a box so that you can actually get the feeling against the wall. So you could use a one chair to get that deep hip flexion, knee flexion that you're missing when you're on a reformer. That's going to be really helpful. And then you don't have to have several different types of reformers, right? My goal with this channel is to always help you understand that, like, yes, it would be nice if there was a reformer just made for your body. It'd be amazing. It will be expensive. And how does changing the reformer affect the other exercises where height doesn't matter, right? Because whenever you change the length of things, you are going to change the angles of when straps hit your body. And I would hate for us to make a shorter reformer, and now the straps are hitting you at your waist as opposed to in your center. Yeah, like hitting too low at the hips versus, or hitting your shoulders versus hitting here. So I would just say, like, if you are wondering and curious, how do I make this reformer exercise fit my body, tall or short? If you're an OPC member, you can send a video in and we can actually talk about it. Because I actually, in my mentorship program, I have a girl, she's 5'4". She feels like her legs are really short. And she was like, maybe I need a spacer box. And when I looked at her using a spacer box versus not using a spacer box, I told her she actually doesn't need the spacer box. She actually needs to get more length in her center. So I think a lot of times we're like, I need to change the exercise when actually we need to change our bodies, right? And something that Jay Grimes always told me, he said with Joe Pilates, he said, don't bring an exercise down to a client, bring a client up to an exercise. And so if you are struggling with an exercise, instead of us changing it, let's talk about what your body needs to get access to it. It might be a spacer box. It might be actually not even doing it on the reformer at all and doing it over on the window chair or doing it on a Cadillac, but it might be doing it there for years and then you can. One of my girlfriends is 5 feet on a good day and she used a spacer box for snake all the time and she no longer needs it because she actually felt that the box, as long as the more she got strength and the more length she got and the more she moved for her center, the box was actually keeping her too close, right? So these are just some things. And we have a question. Okay. Oh, thanks. Do I find the window chair on the shorter side for me? No. I actually think some of the chairs are getting too high, and that causes problems with the pull-ups. So the Contrology window chair is a really great, Brad can push it in. It's a really great height. I really love it. It is based off Kathy Grant's chair, and I like the weight of it. I actually don't think it's too short because again, I can't show you this on today's live because we're not completely set up for that. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't, please don't do that. Okay. Don't do that, please. Okay. Um, so I can't show it to you, but when you're doing going up front, the goal is that you have 1 foot on the floor, 1 foot on the pedal, and then you take the foot that's on the floor and holding the pedal down, step on top. If this chair is higher, like a lot of combo chairs are, hmm? If it's higher, like a lot of combo chairs are about this high, the problem with that is now I have to step really high, right? I have to step really high. Brad's gonna move the camera, so watch nausea. But like, look, the goal of going up front is that I can go from here to here. If the chair is higher, and I have really long legs, guys, I have to go from here to here now, and then from here, I have to lift the pedal. Like that's not gonna work. So now if you're fun size, you would actually take a 2x4 and put it here. So when the pedal comes down, you're bringing the floor up, right? That's what you would do. So I find, or a block, you wouldn't do that step up that I just did because when you put something there, it does make the chair a little unsteady, but that's okay. You put your hands down, you'll step up, you'll find other ways to challenge your balance. Joe gave us plenty. So I do think like this height is really perfect because you are doing Pilates to train for your life. And when I go on a hike, right, or I go on a flight of stairs, I am not trying to go from the floor to step 4. I'm usually going, maybe I'm skipping steps, I'm going 2, but like you really are trying to do this. And I think where people get confused is that they're trying to do Pilates to do Pilates. And Pilates is here to help us. So I know I can rock climb. I know I can get my leg up here while I'm on a rock, not because of the window chair, but because of coordination and backstroke and knee stretches on the reformer, because of the mat work where I don't have any restrictions based on my height, where I actually have to use my own body to pull it in because of the Cadillac. So having access to a full system is really great. I know a lot of studios don't do mat, which is why OPC can be your supplement for your mat practice, because a lot of studios don't do mat because people think the mat isn't, I don't know, worth paying for. Unclear why people think that, but they think yoga is great. Right? Like I think it's really hilarious to me what people think that they're paying for. But for those of you who are clients, you need your mat work. You need your mat work because it does allow you to get deep hip flexion, deep knee flexion, deep ankle flexion, and then supplement with the other equipment, maybe by going to a studio. If you can't buy a great reformer, don't. Go to a studio once a week for your reformer practice. Get yourself a window chair and do your mat work and window chair at home. Get yourself a spine corrector. These things do not cost a ton of money. They're an investment. They're not the cheapest thing, but they are absolutely going to save you money versus going to a studio, and they don't take up a lot of space. So I love for at-home practice as a spine corrector and a window chair on a mat. If you're a teacher watching this, I do have a mentorship program called Elevate. We are filling up 2026's program. and it is more than half filled. We will sell out. We sold out this year. If you would like more information on that, you can go to lesleylogan.co/elevate, Lesley, Lesley, Logan, Logan.co/elevate. And you can get more information. You can also join us for a live that we're doing in July, Q&A thing, but you can also apply early because like I said, it's almost full. But that's for our teachers. And for anyone, maybe you don't want to commit to a mentorship program yet. Maybe you're not a teacher. OPC is literally where we dive into this stuff and help you personalize your practice so you are building yourself up to a practice that supports your life and your goals. Thank you so much for your questions. Go to onlinepilatesclasses.com/YouTube to do 40 days of Pilates at OPC for $40. Literally $1 a day. It's really amazing. We hope you join us. Have an amazing day.